Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades, and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? I hear you say, oh yes, another Bridgerton season 3. We are now on episode 3, Forces of Nature. But before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all that good stuff that you do, because I am on the road to 1k. And I was kind of thinking, maybe I should be in a little bit of a character, do you know what I mean? When we're talking about our beloved Bridgerton. Do you know what? When we're talking about the Ton, Penelope, Collin, and all that encapsulate us Bridgerton fanatics. I'm so sorry. I cannot take myself seriously sometimes. I am so sorry. Anyway, so with this episode, it starts off like this whole romantic scene with Penelope and Collin. Collin's going to Penelope's aid. He starts speaking about like he hasn't been able to sleep, he hasn't been able to eat, and then it all gets all like, you know, fiery breeze blowing in, and then they start kissing each other. So at that point I was like, hold on, this smokes of a dream sequence. At first, I ain't gonna tell a lie, I thought it was Penelope's dream sequence. And then when Collin bust up out of the bed, I was like, raw, oh, is that you, Sir Collin? You really got into that kiss. That kiss told you everything you needed to know about our dear Penelope. She was the person that was hiding in plain sight all this time. All this time. The perfect match for Collin. But did Collin see it? No, he did not. But that kiss definitely made him open his eyes. You see in the next sequence that, you know, Mama Violet is getting on Francesca's nerves, basically asking, wanting to know all the ins and outs of what the Queen said to Francesca. Francesca was taking it all in her stride, but Eloise did answer for her. And then in walks Collin, looking perturbed and perplexed all at the same time. But I mean, having a sex dream about your friend will do that to you. It will shock you to your core and to your senses. My God, I think Collin was about to clutch some imaginary pearls, to the point that, you know what, I just had a sex dream about my friend, and you know what, it wasn't an unwelcome thing at all. Collin was into that. He was into that. Even his brothers could see that there was something going on with him, but he was just like, you know, I'm gonna try and mix this as best as I can. So basically they then start to talk about Lady Whistledown and the fact that the sister starts complimenting Collin in regards to being such a good friend to Penelope in terms of helping her search for a husband. And that's where Eloise takes her exit, and we all know why Eloise took her exit at the end of the day, because we all know that Eloise knows who Lady Whistledown is. She knows her true identity. And the fact that she knows that Penelope had to write about herself so as not to cast any doubt or any suspicions over in Penelope's way, basically. So we know that Eloise continues to keep Penelope's secret. And given what's happened between them, I kind of I've still got the question as to why she keeps keeping her secret. There's a reason why Eloise will keep keeping her secret at the end of the day, and I know it's going to come out at some point, and that's why I just can't wait for the next episodes to come on, because I've seen the trailers and I'm just like, I want to get to the 13th of June already so I can literally have my fill of Bridgerton all over again. Do you know what I mean? Do you know? And I'll keep saying, do you know how many times I've gone back to watch the whole lot, like the whole lot over and over again, including this one. A lot. Let me just tell you a lot, because the whole lot has literally discombobulated me fully, well and truly fully. I am hooked to the nth degree when it comes to Bridgerton. See, a visitor comes a knocking for Penelope, and it is Eloise to have a chat with Penelope about the excerpt that Lady Whistledown did of herself. And it's kind of weird that they have this conversation, because Penelope knows that Eloise knows who she is. So it's kind of like they're having this conversation about a third entity, but you know who it is. So neither one of them are going to reveal the truth fully in that sense. And even though Eloise said to Penelope that what she said about herself was harsh, yeah, and Penelope still wanted that camaraderie with Eloise. She still wanted her friendship back, to the point that, you know, she did say to Eloise that she's got some new books if she wanted to come and have a look at them, and Eloise declined, because at the end of the day, with Eloise, she's going to keep standing on ceremony. At the end of the day, she was slighted and hurt by Penelope in the fullest. And when she found out who Lady Whistledown really was, she saw that as Penelope being twisted and hurtful towards, spiteful towards her on purpose. Yes, there was an essence of that, because Penelope writ what she writ about Eloise to try and protect her identity. But then it was a case of, as I keep saying, Penelope threw her friend under the bus, basically under the guise of supporting her, but she was not supporting her. She was looking out for herself and her identity at that stage. But all I will say is Eloise can't keep giving Penelope these mixed messages. Like, it's like she dislikes her for what she's done, but then in the next breath still wants to make sure and check on that she's okay and reassure her that everything is okay, but then don't want to be friends with her no more. Eloise is going to literally have to make that decision. She's either your friend or she's not. You can't keep jumping in between, because you're sending mixed messages to Penelope at the end of the day. We see Penelope going for the walk in the park. Everyone, as they do in the ton, once the gossip and the fodder has been let out by our fair Lady Whistledown, they start to gossip about them. They look at them so she can see everybody is looking about her and looking at her and talking to her. So you see Collin is behind her, which makes the gossip even worse. So she ends up running under a weeping willow tree, to which Collin follows her. They're both awkward with each other since that kiss, and I think because all the pressure of everybody else, especially the ton, speaking about Penelope, and now the spotlight is very much on Penelope, bearing in mind she's never been in that position before, so this is all new to Penelope. That's why she makes the decision, the quick off the mark decision, to say that it's not working with Collin and she wants to end their sessions right then and there. You can tell that Collin didn't want to be away from Penelope in the slightest. I don't know why he didn't express his feelings at that point to her, but I just think Collin is kind of like a glutton for punishment, because he knows he really likes Penelope to the point that I think he's probably fully in love with this girl, but he was fighting it until he could not fight it anymore at the end of the day. And you see, it took a discussion with his mother that made him change his mind, to when we get to the penultimate episode. Of course, in Bridgerton, we get to another ball. Do we not, my fellow people? We get to another ball. So you see Cressida, and I think this is where you start to see a little bit more of Cressida's background and how it is with her mother, because now her mother is pushing her to get married, because she doesn't want Cressida to be in a position where Penelope is, and everybody looking at her like she's some damn spinster at the end of the day. Like, there's nothing wrong with being single. There ain't nothing wrong with being single, but hey ho, in this era, there is, completely is, if you ain't getting married to somebody, because that is your lot in life. If you were born female, at the end of the day, you're born, you have expectations, you get married, you build your husband, you have babies. That's your lot in life, basically. That's why they look at Eloise weird too, because she don't want that shit. She really don't want it. So you see Penelope walking, and basically her mother is telling her to keep a low profile. So as Penelope usually does, she becomes the proverbial wallflower at the end of the day. And you can see that Collin constantly is always, as you see throughout the episode, especially after the kiss that they had, he's always watching this girl. So this is why I don't know how Penelope didn't click onto the fact that, you know what, this man is seeing you. The man that you've been wanting since your childhood, my gal. The man that you've been wanting for all these years is actually seeing you right now. So I don't understand how Penelope did not see that. So Francesca is basically saying that she doesn't want to follow her heart when it comes to picking a husband or being flavour of the month for the queen and all this, that and the other. She doesn't believe that she will find what her mother had that with her dad, and what her sister and her brother have, and although what the Viscount and the Viscountess have as well, and even what the Queen had, because let's not get it twisted. Queen Charlotte had the epic love story when it came to her husband. Epic love story. Bearing in mind that fact that he's still alive, and let's put it this way, he had mental health difficulties, and back then they didn't know how to treat that shit. And I will also say that the doctor that was treating it from when he was younger probably exacerbated it and made it even worse for him, to the point that his mental health difficulties and or dementia or whatever it is that you may want to call it came on a lot quicker and made him into the person that he is now. But there's snippets where he will constantly still see his Queen Charlotte as the young girl that tried to escape over the wall. And that's the essence of love, going across all types of barriers right there. All types of barriers. And there's only a select few people that knows the situation with Queen Charlotte and her husband, and the all-encompassing love that they had with each other. So as the night wears on, you see Penelope try to talk to two other men, available bachelors within the ton, within the dance, within the ball, and basically they just laughed at her because they had a realization that, you know, she is looking for a husband, and basically they're kind of telling her that, you know what, we are not going to be doing what Collin did, so maybe you need to find another suitor. And they walk off laughing at her. And I'm like, that's just full on disrespectful to this girl. What did this girl ever do to you? Like, I don't understand what Penelope's done to people. Well, when they find out, if they ever do find out that she's actually Lady Whistledown, she's done quite a lot to people. But at the end of the day, they don't know that. Penelope basically won't find a husband in that market. But then Penelope does manage to catch the attention of our fair Lord Devlin. Let's just put it this way, Collin don't like it. Collin don't like it because Penelope is actually being able to be herself with this man. He's bringing out that essence of who Penelope is, and the fact that she's uncomfortable in these types of situations because he don't like them himself. So basically Cressida thinks she wants Lord Devlin, so she's going to pit herself up against Penelope, thinking that there's no competition in the slightest when it comes to Penelope. But Cressida at this point enlists the support and help of Eloise, because she realizes that this man is a naturalist. He's about his birds, he's about X, Y, Z. So she needs to have some background information in this guy. She needs to have her eggs all in one basket to make an impression on Lord Devlin to win out from Penelope, basically. To the great balloon festivities, and this is where, you know, you get a little bit of the drama. You do. So Penelope kind of calls Collin over, but makes it seem as though, you know what, we've just met in passing. We're going to go look at the sweets, but I really need to have this conversation with you. So she tells him about Lord Devlin, showing an interest. So Collin starts to question her, and he's digging in terms of what information that he can find out. Collin wants Penelope. I mean, we can see this bouncing off the screen, but Penelope couldn't see in the slightest. So she then starts eating this cake, and it starts to go in slow motion because the cake bits are starting to get on her lips. So she starts to lick her finger, and Collin cannot look away. That's when you know this man wants this woman badly. He wants her. And this is why I'm saying you like need to get somebody who looks at you the way Collin looks at Penelope for real. I'm telling you, this made my loins sing. But we shall move on. We shall move on from this. So you see that Cressida starts to meet Lord Deblin and starts to have this conversation with him, and you can tell that, you know what, Eloise has coached her well, because then you see Penelope going over to talk to Lord Deblin because she's managed to see him by thinking he's by himself, but then when she walks around past the people, she realized that he's with Cressida and Eloise, so she starts to do a turn back and walk away, but he manages to catch her and calls her over. Oh my god, all I can say is, Penelope, you sweet little thing, you. Her conversation was so awkward. My girl said that even though he's talking about this bird that's endangered, she's saying, well, you can't overlook the plain birds, and then talks about the crows, and he was like, oh no, you can't, looking at her as if to say, huh? And then she said that her favourite thing to do at the outdoors is grass. She liked grass. And I could see in her mind that she was probably rolling her eyes going, what the fuck are you talking about, my girl? What are you doing right now? But you know what? She continued, and in the background, of course, you see Collin watching her like a hawk. Then you see the situation go on with this balloon, because the wind has literally picked up, and what happens is Prudence decides to have a little dalliance with her husband, but then some old geezer is watching them. So as she's seen the old geezer watching them kiss up and do whatever it is they want to do behind the tents, she's pushed her husband, his foot has kicked the freaking rope, yeah, and knocked the thing out of alignment. So this balloon is literally hard to handle because the wind has picked up, so it starts to move. Now as it starts to move, Penelope stood there, and Cressida and Eloise, and even down to Lord Deblin, see what the fuck is about to happen. They start running. They're hot-footed out of there. Penelope not so fast, not so fast. So as it starts coming over, she tries to run, but she ends up slipping on someone's fucking, you know, strategic, like, picnic blanket and pillows that they've all put there. She falls over. All you see is Lord Deblin gallantly jogging across, slides. I mean, that man slides in right behind her and holds her, hoping that the thing doesn't touch her, but it doesn't manage to touch her because, you know, then you get to see Collin in his essence. Just before that, run forward, knew what was going to happen, shouts to the other men in tow to help him, and they're pulling on that rope, and all I can say is, my god, Collin looked good. Collin looked good the way he was, and the muscles and the tingling in him leg, and Luke, who plays Collin, all I must say is, my god, he don't miss a leg day. Let's just put, he does not miss a leg day. After all that incident, Cressida still manages to gain Lord Deblin's attention away from Penelope, because she pretends, like, you know, that she twisted her ankle running when the balloon came, and one of the ropes caught her ankle. Yeah. So she ends up taking away Lord Deblin's attention from Penelope. So then we get to the Innovations Ball. And all I'm going to say is, all these songs that are played by the violins and the string orchestra, absolutely brilliant. Like, I don't know what it is. Even though we know the songs that they're playing, when it's played classically, it just hits you on a different level. Like, honestly hits you on a different level. It gives you chills and makes you want to hear it again for the first time, but without all them singing over it, without all the percussion, without all the drums, just the straight up strings and orchestra. My God, it's the best. Like, absolutely the best. So you see Violet gets out of her carriage. She's looking around and drops her glove, and this handsome black man comes and picks her glove up and gives it to her. And I was like, what the, my guy, who are you? Who are you? Even Lady Violet was like, oh, I've not seen you in these parts before. Who are you? I think her nethers may have tickled her. Say, is that all these mothers are harpies? Penelope's mother don't give a crap about her. Let's just put that out there. Cressida's mother is just full on selfish and thinks her daughter owes her parents everything at the end of the day. The only mother who is lovely, yeah, and loves her children unconditionally and does not see them as commodities is Miss Violet. That's all I'm going to say on that situation. Like, seriously, she just wants her children to find a match, but find love in that process too. Yes, she may push her children to the matches that the Queen may have found, like in case in point with Francesca and the Marquis. But Francesca and the Marquis are not gelling at all, especially when it comes to the point of the Marquis wanting 8 children himself, because you know he's come from a big family the same way Francesca has. But Francesca, as I've already said, likes the peace and quiet. So as soon as he said that turned her off completely, because Francesca knows exactly what she wants out of a husband and what life she would like to bring in that. Now, prior to that, you see Cressida and Penelope literally have a race to get to Lord Devlin first. But of course, Cressida won out and Penelope stepped back into the shadows. And I'm kind of like, at that point, will Penelope get anything that she's ever wanted? My gal really wants Collin, but as again, she's put that to the back burner because she doesn't think that Collin's interested in her in the slightest. And I mean, Lord Devlin is not a bad looking man, to be fair. Let's just put that out there. He ain't a bad looking man, to be fair. So basically, because now Cressida's gone off to Lord Devlin, Eloise is on her own, and she doesn't want to be around everyone that's talking about weddings, because that's not where Eloise's head is at this moment in time. So you see this dashing man come back to talk to Miss Violet. And then you realise, actually, it's Lady Danbury's brother, Marcus, Lord Anderson. I was like, where is Lady Danbury been keeping him? And more to the point is, why does Lady Danbury never talk about her family in that sense? Because obviously she talked about the fact that she knew a visitor was coming and it was an unwelcome visitor, and the visitor was her brother. So I literally need to know the story of what the fuck happened here. Do you know what I mean? I need to know that. I need that to gain some clarity and to gain some context as to why Lady Danbury does not like her brother at all, and the fact that this man is now setting sights upon Lady Danbury's friend, and Lady Danbury don't like that. She not like that in the slightest. So you see Francesca run out of the ball, and she basically goes outside to find some silence. And within that silence, she may have found a young man who enjoys silence too. So see Benedict find the lady that captured his attention, Lady Tilly Arnold, who is, she's not a divorcee, what the fuck is she? She's widowed. I think she's widowed, but she has ensnared our Benedict for now. And then you see a Lord Garrett who talks to Lord Mondrich, because that's who he is at the moment, because, you know, the son is now a Baron of Kent. And basically he's telling Mr. Mondrich that he needs to let go of this bar because he's a part of the upper echelons now. It won't be look favourable upon him to keep this bar in tow, so he needs to let it go. And then I actually realised where Lord Garrett was from. He was our boy Tracy from Chewing Gum. Because it was racking my brains, because I was like, I know his face from somewhere. And then I realised when he was talking to Lord Mondrich, I was like, it's our boy Tracy. It's our boy Tracy. Found our way into Bridgerton. But I'm forever going to see him as our boy Tracy. I'm sorry. That's where I saw him first. Can you blame me? Can you blame me? Penelope ends up managing to speak to Lord Deblin, especially as there was an opening, because he was getting lemonade for himself and Cressida. And basically she talks about the fact of what she was portraying today at the balloon festivities and who she actually is. And Lord Deblin was taken by Penelope. He was taken by Penelope in the first instances. He weren't really necessarily interested in Cressida at the end of the day. But I think he just thought that, you know what, he may just give her a try because he wasn't sure whether Penelope would be interested in him. But the fact that she was coming off with some crazy talk at the balloon festivities is what probably put him on the back burner a little bit. So he ends up giving the drink he was getting for Cressida to Penelope, and Cressida is stood there watching it play out to the fullest. So at that point, I have to say, I kind of felt sorry for Cressida. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of felt sorry for her. And then you also see Collin literally watching this scenario play out between Penelope and Lord Deblin, and he does not like it one iota. But this man is, Collin is literally going to be the struggling person at the end of the day. He's literally going to deny himself to the nth degree until he cannot deny himself anymore before he actually blurts out his feelings to this girl. See, the only nuance with Collin is he speaks to his mum in regards to friends becoming more than friends, and his mum knows exactly who the hell he's talking about, but he tried to play it off as though he was talking about Francesca and her matches in that regard. But his mum knew, and his mum gave him some very sage advice, but it'd be up to Collin to take it rather than punish himself. Because at the end of the day, Penelope wants this man, but she feels that, you know what, Collin's out of the picture. She can't pick him, so she needs to make herself happy a different way. So you do see the scene where Collin does go to Penelope to literally get his questions answered. But in the way that Penelope stuttered her breath when he was close should have been all the answer that Collin needed. She was waiting all but to be kissed by Collin in front of everybody. You could see the tension that was happening between them two. You could see it. You could taste it. You could cut it with a knife. And I think Lord Deblin knew what was going on, because at that precise moment is when he came and interrupted them for their dance. And I was like, I was just clutching my pearls waiting for our Collin to declare himself, and he didn't. So this is where that episode ended, and I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do, because as you already know, I am on the road to 1k, and I'll be back soon. Peace out.